Hello, Libra. This is your August forecast. And hey, listen, we got a bunch of planets now retrograde. You're probably hearing that on the other channels as well. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going into details about that, but it does mean that things are slowing down, okay? I mean, maybe even to a feeling of a halt, and you might wonder, why is nothing moving? Well, it is because this is a time for us to kind of like go back and think, feel, reassess, and see if we can make any changes. Uranus is going to go into retrograde on August 20th and meet up with the other retrogrades, which is Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. So Uranus will be there well. And it's 4 to 5 months. Okay, so don't expect too much. But let's focus on what is moving and will be moving here in this month of August. And that is the Sun and Mercury is going through your 11th house of hopes and dreams and wishes, but it's also a very social area of your chart. So you might just find yourself wanting and needing to spend a little bit more time with friends at this point. And I think that is great. Now, the new moon will be joining up here on the 8th, okay, at 16 degrees. So any other planets you have 16 degrees in your chart will be activated by this new moon. So you might want to check up with your chart or transits to see what else is showing up in your personal chart. But here in our collective reading, the 11th house is all about now wanting to initiate, maybe some of you wanting to initiate new friendships. This is a great time to do so, right? So that's where your intention should be, right? And we have that full moon, which is taking place on the 22nd at 29 degrees of Aquarius. That is showing up in your 5th house. Now, this is a great place to have a full moon, right? And because you have Jupiter and Saturn. Now, 5th house is all about creativity. It's your self-expression. It's what you're doing when you're having fun and joy. And I can see so many of you Libras having had a special year this year. Both Jupiter and Saturn went into the 5th house area in January, top of the year. So you've kind of been looking at how you could expand. Jupiter expands. How can I do something that I enjoy, that I desire to do, what I can have fun with, making room for. And of course, it's also the area of children. So you might have seen that there's been changes or expansion in the area of children, grandchildren. Saturn has been there as well, so there has been a little bit more maybe responsibility for one or more of your children, or your role with them, taking on a little bit more responsibility. Now, the full moon here will be conjuncting, meaning sharing the same degree in the sky as Jupiter, and we know how Jupiter wants to expand. Even though it's retrograde, it still has an impact, right? So on the 22nd of August, circle that on your calendar, this area of the 5th house will be illuminated and bring things to the forefront. Maybe something that you've been working on ever since January of 21 might now come to some kind of, should I say, conclusion and celebration. Wonderful time. So yes, that is pretty much where we're at. We have Venus and Mars is moving direct, but they're working behind the scenes. They're in the 12th house. That's our subconsciousness. It's our dream state. It's our intuitive area of the chart, right? So when both of them are in your 12th house, they're actually asking you here, Libra, to listen within. Okay, so you could hear inspiration come to you. This is a great month where you could meditate successfully a little bit more than other months because of it, where quietness is so essential, so important for us as human beings if we're wanting to walk and live that spiritual life, that path. So when we're having Venus, which is all about love, and Mars about action, this is your internal phase of 2021, especially when these two are there. You will have this in August, and coming into September, the Sun and Mercury will follow. So it's really a time to step back, and you might go, how much more can I step back? Because all the other planets are asleep. They're retrograde. They're already sleeping. And now you're asking me to step back even more because of the 12th house with my direct planets. Well, everything has its time, doesn't it? There's divine timing in everything. But I feel it's going to power you up. This is a time to reflect a lot, right? And to envision. 12th house is very visual. It's very creative. It's Pisces house, right? And Pisces are both very intuitive and very artistic and visual. So for you, it's kind of closing down a long-term cycle because of the outer retrogrades and now the 12th house. So it's going back and trying to connect all the dots, all right? And then they will come out. So your first house and your energy is going to be up and out and going, and you will love that. So next month, we're going to see a whole lot more activity, though, where Mercury and the Sun is right now in your 11th. That's going to move into the 12th. So Venus and Mars are kind of laying the grounds, right? Putting down the footprints that the Sun and Mercury will follow in September. But then you've already done the work. You've done the job. You're really happy, outgoing. So next month will be divine in that sense, right? So meanwhile, this month, hey, it's special, so just kind of tune into it the best you can, Libra. And I'll see you there next month in September. So make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get, excuse me, next month's reading as well. Have a good one. Bye now.